Welcome to my basement, everybody.
Hey,
hello, Scott Jones.
This is Ben Silverman. I'm Scott Jones. Couldn't be here this week.
That's a very, very, very good Ben Silverman impression, my
Wow,
friend.
thank you very much. And you know you're right, Jose.
That's not bad. I like what you've done with the smell in this place while I've been away, my friend.
Your mom and I got down here and we cleaned it up a little bit.
You added some kind of like rosy scent to the fart and cheese. It's
we got
pretty
a
good.
potpourri that we put in the bathroom.
I like
and you know
it.
what? We can't even use a regular vacuum down here. We have to use one of those shop vacs.
the big round ones that are so loud. We should run one of those ones during the podcast. We should see what kinds of annoying sounds we can do while we're talking. Just
We'll see if people can guess what sound this is, and we'll just turn on a shop vac.
That sounds awesome.
We'll
how many minutes of the podcast they will continue to listen to?
No one will listen to it. Listen, I got a little gift for you today.
Oh, what is it?
It's a snack. We probably should not eat it on the air because according to my radio broadcast degree, which does not exist, you should never eat on the air or chew gum.
Fuck
but
that.
it's one of these things called an energy ball. Have you seen these things before?
I love energy balls.
So I went to
my balls are filled with energy.
I went to the shop down the way here, close to where the basement is, and I picked up an energy ball. And I said, you know what? I'm going to the basement. Give me 2 of those energy balls.
I'll take 2 energy balls, please.
So you know what the lady says to me?
What?
Can they go in the same bag?
Oh, shut up.
I said it is okay.
You can put my balls into the same bag.
It's
is what
okay
you
if
said.
the balls touch.
Oh. Oh my God.
So I have them here. They're ready to go.
Look, you made it weird at the beginning.
I got a peanut butter one and a chocolate one.
Everything is fucked up.
I kind of want the peanut butter one, but if you want it, I'll give it to you.
No, you can have the peanut butter.
It's called Vic's basement.
There's a little secret I want you to know about me.
Scott's basement.
I love the chocolate.
Okay.
I love the chocolate
Good
balls.
to know. So you've been traveling and now you're back and all of your stuff. You got your little roller your little roller suitcase that you take on board.
I do.
Hey,
It's very cute.
I'm not checking anything. I'm just going to get right on.
No, I do
off.
check everything. And how about those bag checking prices? Fuck you, airlines.
This is our one part of the show where Vic gives a fuck you to somebody. Today it's the airline.
It's so indignant.
$25. Check your bag.
Like. I don't mean to whine. We've all seen that Louis C.K. Thing about us flying through the air and thousands of miles. Yeah, I know it. I love it. It's great.
Wi-Fi and
but still, the TSA and the travel industry, they just make it as heinous as they could possibly make it. All of it is just so awful. I was with Enzo, our cameraman, on the way back from the Xbox One thing. This morning, because we got on a 6:45 flight.
Okay, so that was this morning. So you're hallucinating. I'm
hallucinating right now, but we both kind of turned to each other, and Kenny G was just blasting through the fucking airport. It was so obnoxious, and we're like, "Do you have to have Kenny G just crank right now?" And we're all just numb to it, so nobody was like paying attention to the music, but it was the most awful, heinous muzak with Kenny G just going for it in his terrible solo. And
so let's go down the list now. Yeah. Airlines are getting it from you, both barrels. Kenny G is getting it from you, both barrels.
Well,
you know what you sound like?
It's pernicious. It's just like it's in your face. It's like, this is gonna suck.
You know what you sound like?
Why can't people be nice and
sound
be
like
a good
cranky old bastard?
Yeah. Well, I've been going to your lessons.
You've gone to my seminar at the Holiday Inn. Yes, I'll be a cranky old bastard.
Scott C. Jones School of Wine.
$25 to check my bag, and then they blast the music so loud in the airport.
And then you got to strip down to your underwear and put your hands up in the air, and
still, you get to
and
go
then
on an
somebody still
airplane.
ends up touching your crotch on the way across the thing.
Well,
and
I hope they touch my crotch.
It really is just
intimacy.
an awful. Yeah, I guess it is very intimate.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're married and stuff, but I got to get what I can get. So yes, can I have the pat down?
I mean,
please.
Part of it may have been that we were traveling on a 6:30 flight. That might have been the issue. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're back, and it seems like you had a good trip. I know that
I feel like I've been to E3 already.
Well, that's coming up.
I know it's still coming up, but I was at the early E3 kind of look ahead thing.
Are you allowed to talk about it, or
not
do the
really?
E3
No, I
ninjas
can't
come out of the ceiling.
I can't talk about any of this stuff. I can't.
Okay,
but,
you shouldn't even be mentioning this right now.
No, but I saw some games. I saw some early looks at games, and that was interesting.
You saw the future.
I did see the future. I peered.
You went into the time machine.
I'll tell you this. You know that big Call of Duty thing with the dog and all that stuff? I saw that shit a week ago.
Yeah.
That was old news to me.
Oh, man, you're like...
Sub D, I already knew about Sub D and the tessellation. Yeah, I knew about all that stuff.
Logs and the dog's jaw working and
honestly,
faces with more expressiveness.
I'm excited to play that game because I always like these Call of Duty games, but holy shit, was that boring. Like, do we need to see that? I mean, we just know it's going to be a good-looking version of what we know already. And
I couldn't believe that was the money shot.
That was it, I know.
Yeah, this is like, and it's a multi-platform game too. That's the other thing. I thought it was going to be Gears of War. Frankly, that's when they were building up to this moment. They should have had one awesome and one more thing. You know, Fable,
something. Yeah,
I don't know. Milo 2.
And maybe something without shooting. You know, I know we've been on this kick for a while, but
I know nobody wants to hear it. But
it might have been kind of cool to have like, and here's what next gen means to us, and it's not a shooter,
right?
You know, like because we know the shooters are going to be awesome. We've already seen Killzone on the PS4, and we've seen Call of Duty.
It's just the stuff.
It's the same, I know, but they're going to be. We're going to sit down in front of these things, and the fidelity is going to be incredible, and we're going to have fun. Let's just hope that nobody else tries to make this shit, so that there, isn't a bunch of Me Too shooters out there. I want
someone to make a shooter called The Last Shooter That Will Ever Be Made. The end.
I did get to play a little bit of The Last of Us, and I can talk about that.
I got to tell you something. Ben Silverman actually sent me a photograph of you playing The Last of Us, and he said, "Here's Vic's Last of Us face."
Oh man, that is the worst photograph.
Do you want to see it?
No, I've seen it. It's terrible. I asked him to delete that photograph. That's why we don't make TV about people playing video games.
It looked like you were having fun.
Oh, it was awesome. You're into it, yeah. But you talk about drooping into your body. I just look like I'm just some kind of stain on the couch. I just sort of fall back. I know.
That's what we look like.
I know. We're just intense and we're just into the thing. It's like I'm all eyeball in that.
It looked like you were trying to write a brown V in your underwear.
Well,
no one can see it on the air.
I am so freaking excited for The Last of Us, dude. It's so scary. The sound is amazing, and
all right.
Oh my God, I think this is going to really be a great send-off.
Calm down there, Woody.
Yes, I've got a Woody.
All right. All right. Well, listen,
pass me a ball.
We have a question here from a listener.
Okay.
There's at least one listener to the podcast out there.
Thank you for listening, listener.
Yeah, I got his name here too. You want his name is David Ward.
Thank you, David Ward, for listening.
Does that sound made up to you?
Was it you?
No, it wasn't from.
Is this question from you?
It says, "Hi everyone at Rotor." And
Hello.
Rotor is short for Reviews on the Run, of course.
Yeah.
I am a huge fan, and you guys are doing a terrific job. And by the you guys, they mean everybody: Sean and Marissa, Ben and Miri.
Of course.
Not just you and me.
No.
We do a good job too.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work. The question is for Vic and Scott. Oh, I like where this one's going. Based on the footage you have seen on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, which one would you guys lean towards specifically for games? I'm sure you guys have been getting this question a lot. Kindest regards. This is nice. He's got a nice sign off and everything. David.
That's awesome.
Thank you for your question, David.
It is a good question. I asked this question
really
on Twitter.
It all up, right?
Yeah, totally. And I got to tell you, 85% of the responses were in favor of the PlayStation 4 because, and that would be my vote too, mostly because we've seen more game footage.
85%, is that science fact?
Well, I counted as many as I could count. I had a lot of replies, a lot of anger about the Xbox One.
I know.
I mean, let's face it, the press conference was not for gamers. It was a general interest. We're going after the Apple TV with a do-everything device that's going to take over your living room. And it will also play video games. And, as a gamer and someone that hooked into the Xbox brand around video games, you couldn't help but want more. And I know that Xbox is going to deliver more at E3, but that was a disappointing press conference if you were hoping to see what next-gen games are going to be about, especially because football and soccer and Call of Duty and Forza, you can predict the hell out of what those things are going to look like. And Quantum Breakdown, what the fuck was that? That was like a little bit of a TV commercial.
Quantum Break or Breakdown?
Or whatever it was.
I think it's just Break.
Quantum Break. We know nothing about that. A bridge is blowing up,
I don't know what it was.
And then it was like we're watching a Lifetime movie.
Is they weren't ready to show anything from it, basically.
Yes.
So
PlayStation 4 right now looks like a real game system, but there's a lot more story to tell.
This is what I can't overcome is right now it's my ambivalence about I don't really want either one of these machines. And I remember, 2005, looking at the Xbox 360 for the first time, and I remember this Fight Night moment. You remember it too. You know what I'm talking about, where you could see the punch landing, and you could see the deformation of the face, and you could see the beads of sweat, and you just knew you were going to get an experience unlike anything you'd had before. And, I'm looking at these sports games, and you're right, at the Xbox One press conference, and I know how that FIFA game is going to play. I know how it's going to feel in my hands.
It was
I know
the
what it's going to look like.
safest game reveal stuff I've ever seen.
It was a non-reveal reveal.
Well, specific to games, it was the safest, look at what's coming in games I've ever seen at a press conference, I think.
Even the trailer for Forza 5, which was just a trailer that could have run for any generic racing game from the last 20 years. It's like, close up of a wheel, close up of we're going around a corner in Italy.
Here's the thing. These consoles are going to be amazing. They're going to be really great consoles, but they're going to be iterative TV. On what we have now, which are also very, very cool, good consoles right now. What these next consoles are going to be is, 60 frames a second, 1080p consoles. They're not 4K consoles, which is, I think, what we're all, waiting to see, this next sort of huge bump up in resolution. But the industry can't do that now. They can't make that transition now. There's been so much damage caused by the last console transition and this move to, fracturing the industry into lots of little indie mobile studios and things like that, that there just isn't enough infrastructure for people to just go and ramp up to build the best looking, most photorealistic looking kind of stuff that we've ever seen before. That sort of huge leap forward that we saw between the PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 3 and Xbox One to Xbox 360, we're not going to see that again. And I think both Sony and at this generation, I think at least not yet, I think both Sony and Microsoft know that, recognize that, and they're trying to show off other wins and other sort of positives and pluses in, choosing to go with these next gen consoles. It's interesting that both of them are not backwards compatible. I think that we are probably facing the end of, used games being a tremendously less expensive option for players out there. I think we're probably going to have to pay something to bring a used game home and put it onto our PlayStation 4 or our Xbox Ones. I think the industry is changing. But I think when we get these new games that are made from some of the strongest teams, the teams that are actually have been able to survive, the Naughty Dogs and the Bungies and the 343s and the BioWares. And we see what these companies can do with this new hardware. It's going to be amazing. It just won't be that paradigm shift that the last gen was.
So I brought something down here in the basement with me today. I want to show it to you. It's a map.
Okay.
And I've picked out a tiny island in the middle of the South Pacific.
Okay. Are you leaving?
I think I'm going to buy.
Okay.
And I'm gonna move there.
Okay.
With 2 Super Nintendos.
Okay.
In case one goes down.
Okay. And that's it. You're out. You're checking out.
I'm out.
You can't handle the fact that you can watch TV and you can share your gameplay footage.
Xbox, I'm out. What happens if you say that? The thing starts to smoke and shudder?
I think the Kinect gets sad and starts following you around the house.
The Kinect is going to fall in love with me. It'll be trying to see my butt when I get out of the shower.
Yeah, isn't the Kinect GLaDOS pretty much?
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, it's like GLaDOS beta or something like that.
I don't know. I think I might be out though, man.
No, come on.
They're not even game consoles anymore.
We don't know what they are yet.
We know what they are. We know exactly what they are.
We know that they're all-in-one wonder boxes for sure.
They're not wonder. There's no wonder in these boxes whatsoever.
They're also very powerful processors and lots of hard drive and lots of RAM, stuff that the developers haven't had the chance to play with. And they're going to be making us some great-looking things that are going to be less expensive than buying a souped-up gaming PC. Now, a souped-up gaming PC would give you Steam and some better prices on some of the software.
That's where I'm going.
But you'd be spending $1,000 to get yourself cooking.
That's fine.
And I don't know what the Steam box is going to go for, but I think these new machines are going to go for $300 or $400, and they're going to be powerful, systems that the developers are going to know exactly what the specs are, and they're going to make some really cool looking stuff.
I'm going to go on the record because I'm the doom and gloom guy. You guys, you know me.
Yeah.
This generation of consoles is going to bomb. It's going to be an unmitigated disaster. Nobody is going to buy a slightly better way to watch your television.
No.
Nobody. Everybody wants Netflix. They want to spend $7.99 a month. They want to cut corners. They want to go through the internet somehow. They want something for free. They don't want to pay $400 so they can say Xbox movie. They don't want that.
I don't think gamers are looking for that. I don't think gamers are looking for that, but I think
gamers are going to go back to the PC. Games are going to become hardcore again, the way they were 25 years ago. We're going to move away from anybody being interested in games, and it's going to take a while for people to come back into the fold. People, even if you look at the sales figures for Call of Duty, they've been dipping.
I don't know,
Everything's
dude.
been on the wane. Nobody buys Madden anymore. Nobody's going out in droves to buy this shit.
Millions of people buy all these games.
But there used to be
I heard an
millions
awesome
of people.
quote about a game that I can't even talk about, but it was a fantastic quote, and it was in reference to Devil May Cry and its sales expectations from Capcom.
Tomb Raider as well. Look at
Right,
Tomb Raider.
okay. Well, the quote that this guy said, and I'm going to butcher it here, and I can't even say what it's in reference to, but he said, we make smarter expectations, and we hit those targets, and we're very happy. And if our game sold the 3 million units that Devil May Cry hit, we'd be dancing naked through the streets. We'd be very happy. So what's happening is it's not so much that these things aren't selling, it's that expectations and targets for how they should sell, which are being set by public companies, which are trying to, keep bringing new shareholders in, they're falling short. But they're not based on any real data. But when you sell 3 million units of anything, that's a business. That's a real business. And these things are doing that. BioShock is doing that. Dishonored was a hit. There's still an appetite for big console games. I think The Last of Us is probably going to end up doing about 5 million. That's my prediction on that. I think it's going to be a massive success for PlayStation.
All right. Well,
and people are going to buy good console software. It's still going to be a viable business.
We'll see. I hope I'm wrong. But I want to be wrong more than anything.
What they can't do is outprice themselves in development. We can't do that because we went from probably about 50, 75 people teams on the last gen to 150, 200, sometimes 300 people teams on this current gen. We can't do that again. We can't go to 600 people on a sort of en masse level. I mean, Ubisoft probably could, but every game that comes down the pipe can't be that big. And so because of that, we're not going to get that huge dramatic leap in terms of visual fidelity, but we are going to get a lot of really cool, technical gains by upgrading to these new machines. There's going to be a lot less grinding. We play these modern games like BioShock or Far Cry 3 on the 360, and it feels like the machines are struggling now. I mean, these guys have utilized the hardware to its maximum capabilities, like Crysis 3 as well, and it's night and day difference when you look at the software on the PC, and I think we're going to be a lot closer to that kind of spec with the new machines, and I'm excited for that, especially on a big, beautiful 60-inch TV. Right. It's going to be good.
All right, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see how this ongoing soap opera of the video game industry plays out in the coming year. We're going to get more information at E3 in a couple of weeks, as you counted so wisely this morning. 19 days until E3.
Yeah.
Maybe on the next podcast, let's have a guest on and do some E3 memories.
That sounds cool.
We'll wax nostalgic on the next podcast.
Well, let me just say something about the Xbox One
make
review.
it quick, though, because you're really making me sleepy.
Are we running out of time?
No,
it's boring you, just like the press conference did. But Microsoft has to go after Apple. They have to go after Apple. They have to not think about the video game industry that it currently exists. They couldn't do an Apple competitor to Apple TV and an Xbox. They had to do this. They had to put
I don't care what they had. All I know is what I want and what I don't want. This isn't what I want.
Gamers are not going to be excited about the TV stuff unless they're huge sports fans.
But the TV people aren't going to be excited about this shit either.
They are. If they've got Windows PCs and they want to have a connected television and they want to be able to.
Small fraction of people.
I don't think so. People get hooked on good technology if it works. The Apple TV
people want to steal cable from their neighbors. That's all they care about.
They do that too.
That's all they give a fuck
I know
about.
they do that too. But Apple TV has just been sort of an experiment for Apple, but they're going to be taking it a lot more seriously. And Microsoft can't just let Apple walk in and take all of those customers away. They can't. They watch that happen with the tablets, and they're trying to fight back. And they can't let Apple take the living rooms away. And that's exactly what's on the table right now. And that's what the Xbox One is catering to. It's not just a game system. And frankly, Microsoft can't do that. Sony is, I think, trying to target and make their machine a little more of a game system first, especially with hires like Mark Cerny and David Perry. But they're obviously going to try to get as much of the other entertainment stuff in there as they can as well.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay, Axe.
Are you watching Mad Men? And if so, how do you feel about Don Draper?
I hate Don Draper, but I am watching the show.
Okay, you're still watching it. I'm not watching it, so I don't know. I know that everybody's grousing about Don Draper. You're watching Game of Thrones.
Yes.
And this weekend is a magical weekend. This is the weekend when season 4 of Arrested Development premieres on Netflix. All 13 episodes, I believe.
Yeah.
On Sunday, you're going to be able to just flip on your Netflix, $7.99 a month.
Arrested Development into your brain.
Boom! You're going to have 7.5 hours of new Arrested Development. From what I've read so far, each episode is devoted to a different character.
Oh, great!
And it all takes place in real time.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
There's good TV. Imagine if you could watch the TV and
I can
talk
watch
to your
it
TV.
on my $7.99 Netflix on my iPad.
Yeah, but you can run
bed.
all that through Xbox as well. And you can say, Xbox,
I already have a system that works fine.
Expand, and then you could do all kinds of quirky hand movements and then change the screen size and then Skype with your friends at the same time.
So I could probably just make a bikini out of some coconuts and maybe some banana leaves.
And then you just play your Super Nintendo games.
I'm going to be on my island in the South Pacific.
I thought of an idea that I'm going to give away to Nintendo because I know Nintendo. Reggie's listening right now. He's going to take this idea to heart. How you doing, buddy?
I did not bring you an energy ball, Reggie. We couldn't have 3 balls touching.
They should bring back the Game Boy. They should make the Game Boy play every single screen game that Nintendo has created. So up into the Wii. With dual sticks.
Is your junk drawer not full enough?
No, but it also can hook up to the television either through the Wii U or through extra cables. But it's a portable. But it's a portable, and you can hook it up to your TV, and it's just for games.
Oh, you dreaming fool!
But listen, Nintendo brings that out, and it has their back catalog open on some online store, and it uses the Miiverse and all that stuff. That would be a big seller. Tell me I'm wrong.
Okay.
It plays every Nintendo game.
I'm ambivalent about it.
Except the dual screen stuff, so they would still have their 3DS market and their DS market. This would be different than that. This would be the single screen experience. It would almost be like the gamepad, but you could walk out in the street with it, and then you could hook it up to your TV either through the Wii U or through the. I think that would be incredible.
Why don't we just pool all of our resources?
Yes.
Fuck it. Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, get everybody together, pool all your money together, and let's build a time machine. Let's go back to the 60s and the 70s when it was free love, and there was
and we'll bring them Super Nintendos.
There was no pain.
We'll just bring everybody Super Nintendo.
Right. We'll bring everybody Super. No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
They could hook it up to their black and white TVs.
Yeah, so we'll just get all the money together, and that's a better use of money.
So this is what the Xbox One press conference did to you. You're down. You're not excited. You're not excited. You were down about the PlayStation 4
I'm interested
conference.
in eating my energy ball.
And you were down about the Xbox.
This was better than the Sony press conference. I'll tell you that. They learned from Sony. They also are smart enough to keep it short. They kept it at an hour.
Yeah. That's because they had to make it ready for TV. I wish they'd had another half an hour so they could have shown us a little bit more.
No, that's
Come
enough.
on. We all had more questions than answers.
They spent 30 minutes telling us how we could just go from our Skype
we still
to
don't
our
know
television.
if we can have used games, and we still don't know if it needs to have the internet on all the time.
All I know is they don't give a shit about gamers anymore. That's all I know.
They do, and they're going to show us at E3.
They barely do.
No, they do.
They will fucking push us out of the car.
Absolutely not. They're not going to push us out of the
moving car. They don't care.
Well,
Sony still cares, but barely.
Here's what came very resoundingly clear to me. All right? All of the other media...
You're going to push you out of the car.
You can push me out of the car. All of the other media out there that an Xbox One could siphon and send into your eyeballs is made quicker than video games are. And that's the challenge that the game industry has. It's not big enough...
It's because all these assholes think they have to put 92 layers on every moving person in a game. This is not like making real games. Real life is not games. That's not fun. We've turned it into a painstaking process.
There's a huge rethink on all of this stuff, for sure. Maybe games that are 20 hours long or 10 hours long or whatever, maybe that business model it needs to change a little bit. Maybe games should be more structured so that you drop in for half an hour or an hour and you get a lot of value out of them, and then you can plug in a little bit later on. I mean, maybe the way that we've been playing and the way that games have been served and the way that games have been developed all has to kind of be adapted. But all I know is when you are trying to push content at people and you have a device that can do as much as the Xbox One, if you just relied on games, that's too much machine for just games, state-of-the-art games. The industry can't support that. It isn't big enough anymore. The games are very expensive. They're very labor-intensive, and they take a long time to build. So they had to, flesh it out with other stuff that people could do on this thing. And that's, of course, what people are doing.
You know what I looked like when I was watching the Xbox press conference? Sally Draper.
Who's Sally Draper?
Don Draper's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I'm glad you had fun down there. I hope they gave you some nice sandwiches to eat.
You know what? The best thing about it was that I was on campus. I was in Xbox headquarters.
Did you steal anything?
I did not steal anything, but we got to see where they test out all the controllers to see what their durability is like. And we went into an anechoic chamber to hear how the Kinect actually takes all of that audio data and does cool things with it. It was pretty sweet, man. I got to see the passion of coders and hardware manufacturers and people that have really been laboring to bring this thing out to market. And it must have been a tough few days for them because there's a lot of negativity out there right now about all this stuff, as there always is on the internet. And
that's because I'm like the Wicked Witch of the West, flying on my broom around and leaving negativity everywhere.
Is that what you've done?
Breeding of.
Oh man,
no,
just relishing in it.
Dude, I don't need this stuff to make me happy anymore, but I know I'm old enough and I've been doing this long enough to call bullshit when I see it. And that's what I feel like I'm doing.
I'll tell you this. They both have to really knock our socks off at E3 this year.
They better be holding something big back.
Yeah. And Nintendo too. I'm excited, man. Like I really am. Like this is like the cards have to be on the table. They got to knock our socks off. They got to really make us excited, about video games and about where they're going with it.
You think maybe I could replace Reggie?
Maybe Scott Jones for president of Nintendo.
Would you like a new Mario game?
I would like a new Game Boy that's just about games.
I know, buddy. I think it's a brilliant idea. Nintendo, write that down.
Yes.
Do we need to make it weird at the end?
No, we made it weird at the beginning. So
all right.
That checkbox.
So next week, let's do E3 memories. We're never going to remember this. So
all right,
maybe write it. Maybe
remind us. Tweet us.
We need to get an intern down here in the basement.
Sure.
So E3 memories.
We'll cook up the intern in a big vat of soup.
We'll talk more about Star Trek Into Darkness. Maybe we'll touch on that a little bit.
Okay.
We got a lot of movies to see coming up fast here.
Seen that latest Superman trailer?
I don't know. I don't know what
Vision.
I don't think I saw it. I love
so
you, buddy.
Awesome.
So let's eat our energy balls and let's take a break.
Pass me that bag of balls.
There you go, buddy. There's your ball.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher and wherever else you can find us. Hopefully on the website. Thanks for listening, everybody.
See you guys.
We'll catch you next time. He's already started eating his ball.
Energy.